So 2 weeks ago, Susan and Neil started on a ketogenic diet. We're doing a check-in now, and we're going to check in regularly as we go forwards. But first of all, if I turn to you, Susan, what was the diet you were trying to do?
Attempting to follow the keto diet, but I'm not actually very good at following any rules. So I have found myself wavering a little bit. And last week, at the weekend, I did actually have a very acute craving for custard, which I resisted, although I did actually then go and buy some double cream and ate that with some raspberries. And I have found myself this week as well, craving for a little bit of honey.
Is it
Um,
sweet things you're craving for, or dairy, or a
well, it
mix of the two?
wasn't not much, just a tiny little morsel I found was actually I did actually have a tiny little bit of honey on a spoon, and it was enough to satisfy my. Yes, I was attempting to stick religiously to the keto diet, but I did find myself wandering this last week.
Just to clarify, the diet you're on, it doesn't allow any sweet things at all. So no
No
custard, no.
sugars, no sugars, no carbohydrates other than those found in dark green leafy vegetables, etc. No grains.
Fruit sugars. Are you allowed fruit?
No, well, you're limited on the amount of fruit. It tends to be to just berries, which I love. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries. Although I have been missing bananas. Oh, and I have been to eating apples, the odd apple. We've also adopted the inter time restricted eating aspect of fasting. So we don't have breakfast, lunch until about, well, 12:31, sometimes as late as 1:30. So that's the first meal of the day. And then the second meal of the day is in the evening.
So you talked last time about some things you bought from the pharmacy to test for ketosis. Did you try those, and were you actually in ketosis during the diet?
Well, I did try them and the answer was no. And I was going to do one later today. So maybe for the next report, I'll be able to say something a bit more exciting.
So Neil, if we turn to you now, similar question. What was it you set out to do over the last couple of weeks, and what did you actually do? Was it different?
So my goal was to do what I call clean keto, which was follow a high fat, medium protein, low carb diet and combine that with time restricted eating as well. So eating within a 6 hour window. So looking to have food probably around about 12 and again around about six. So I was
Dr.
eating,
Eric Berg's regime, isn't it? You're following.
yeah, that's right, yeah. Um, So the sorts of food I was eating were things like maybe a bit of steak with some vegetables and some oil on it, cooked in butter. So it's really quite delicious food.
Sounds nice. Yeah.
It does, yeah. I've sort of been looking at other recipes as well that I can do. So I found one or two that I can put together and put in a lunchbox if I'm taking it to work, and that works quite well. Um, in terms of sticking to it, I would say I've done quite well partially. I've had what I've found is during the week it works quite well when I'm home and I'm working from home and I'm able to cook my own meals and I'm able to plan and prepare. Where it seems to have gone wrong slightly is at the weekends where I've had cravings again for carbohydrates. So, for example, a week ago last Thursday, I had a night out and I felt really energized all through the evening. I didn't feel hungry at all. I didn't drink anything apart from a glass of water. I felt alert and engaged all through the evening, which, is was a great thing because I often go to those evenings and feel quite tired and run down. But I did notice the next day I was sort of craving carbohydrates. So I ended up I went to the supermarket to buy some bits and I ended up buying a baton of bread as well. I guess the effect of it has been that I have lost about a kilo in weight, even with sticking to it imperfectly.
One of the things you talked about when we kicked this off was your energy levels were low. And it sounds like you actually had a bit more energy at times when
Yes.
you were in ketosis. So you think you actually got into the ketosis state, it sounds like.
Yes. So there was a couple of times I noticed having a bit of body odor, which is reported as being one of the side effects of being in ketosis. So it felt like I had quite a bit of energy. One thing I did find that I did was take electrolytes. So I've got these electrolyte supplements that I have with a glass of water once a day. And I think that helps. And I've recently acquired some magnesium supplements as well, because that can be something that can be deficient in the keto diet. And that's helped with energy levels. But yeah, my energy levels when I've been doing it are much better. That is one big thing I've noticed.
It's counterintuitive, isn't it? 'Cause you think the sugar would give you lots of energy, but
Yeah.
actually it's not the sugar that helps. So if I turn back to you, Susan, how do you feel overall about the diet? Are you going to stick with it, and what are you going to do differently over the next few weeks, do you think?
Yeah, I am going to stick with it actually. It's been relatively easy to adapt to. I have lost inches or centimeters. What I'd like to do is stick more religiously to the keto diet for another couple of weeks. And
Well, how do you feel overall, and are you going to do anything differently over the next 2 or 3 weeks?
So I feel very positive about the diet. I recognize that I've not done it perfectly, but to be honest, I didn't expect to. I felt that I would be setting myself up to fail if I said it was a perfection or nothing at all. So I don't mind too much that I didn't quite go right, but I'm going to try to plan a little bit better for when things, change slightly in my day-to-day routine, so that I can try and stick to it in full for the next 2 to 3 weeks or so.
Brilliant. Well, it sounds like you've both had some benefits, but it's also been a bit of a challenge.
I've been doing exercise classes online through Zoom, and one thing I have found is that I have more energy when I'm doing the exercise classes.
That's
I
really
feel a
interesting.
bit fitter. Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you very much for checking in. It's been really interesting to hear about your stories. It sounds like it's quite challenging, but also worth the effort. So we'll check in a few weeks' time again, and good luck. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
I